Hi everyone, welcome to the next video from this page 34 from Tiny Year by Agotapop and Colouring Heaven magazine. Now we have a set of garden tools or farm tools. I think they're pretty much garden tools to colour. I'm trying to identify what they are. Obviously the rake in the middle and the shears, the sort of spade, fork, but I don't know what this is. This one. These are obviously pruning shears. Now we've got a lot of bits on here that I think would be silvery coloured, so I thought we would start with that. I'm going to pick out a couple of greys and we can do that. So we're using our Staedtler Design Journey. This is 890 and I'm going to start with this one down here, and I'm assuming, although I don't know what it is, that this piece here is probably metal. As I say, I don't really know what it is, but that is my guess as to what it is. So let's do the edge with this darker one, like that. Then get the slightly lighter one that I picked, which was the 80. And I'm just going to fill in some of that space. We want to leave some white to indicate a bit of shine. It's quite hard on a thin item. It's going to be harder on these, but we'll give it a go. We've actually started with the hardest one, one of the hardest ones. So I'm back to my 890, so my slightly darker grey. If you don't have this set, any dark grey and slightly lighter grey, but you want cold greys, held my breath then. Tracing along a line is not my best thing. And there we go. And we're going to do the same around these sorries. Concentration. Saw some fun videos by Johanna Bassett saying a change of circumstances has meant she's had to change her studio, and she's doing some time at home and some time, I don't know whether she's moved to a new studio or whether she's just partly at home now, but she was having a tidy up, so I'm assuming that she moved. So she didn't explain what was going on, why, but I'm assuming that if she's spending some time at home, maybe she's got to be with those little girls a bit more, but that's okay. This is 80. But it will, she said she's going to post, I mean by the time this video goes out, although I'm not that far ahead, she said she'd post a studio tour video, which would be nice. I know people ask me to do that. If I had a studio, I'd give you a studio tour. I have no such thing. Now, back to 890 for our rake. Now, because this is narrow, I'm not going to try and do shine in the middle like I did here. I'm going to do it slightly differently. So for this one, I'm going to put my darkest bit there, and then from the top, and then leave my sort of bit that looks shiny in the middle. Can you see? That's too wide, so I should just bring it in until I'm satisfied that you can just about see it without it being too obvious. Now we're going to do the same with this top section, so we're going to bring it up to about halfway. Yeah, I don't unfortunately don't have a studio or anything like that. I have the office / junk room and a desk in the sitting room, which is nice to have a desk in the sitting room so I can colour with everybody else. But this office in here I use for recording, so I can shut the door. And I've got a desk along one end under the window, which is a pain because the sun keeps coming in and out and affecting, even though the blind's shut. To my right is a big stack of huge Victorian paintings, which are just being stored in here. And then to my left is a huge bookcase, one shelf of which is mine. 80. The rest are husband's stuff. Then behind me is the door, but to the side of the door is another bookcase stuffed full of stuff, junky stuff. So yeah, it's not exactly, but because I've got my back to the junk, 890, it's not quite so bad. It would be nice to have a room to myself. And my sister keeps saying, why don't you just get rid of the junk and make it into a nice room for yourself? I'm like, it's all very well, but where am I going to put the stuff? It's not all junk, you know. It's husband's stuff. There's nowhere else for it. You know, there are, I'm just going to use the lighter one a little bit. I'm just going to fiddle a bit. You know, there's 4 of us living in the house. We've got 4 bedrooms. This is one of them. And it's only a very small room. And, you know, the children have got a room each of their own, of course. This is 890. Obviously, I share my room with my husband. And we have got a lounge diner type room. One half has my husband and my 2 sons' desks in it, and my bookcase. And then the other half has sofa, TV, and my desk. So we're pretty cramped up. And then we have our kitchen diner downstairs, because we don't use our lounge diner as a dining room because it's upstairs from the kitchen, which has always been a bit of a pain. So we tend, because you know, you'd have guests and they'd have to carry their plate of food upstairs, and if they wanted seconds, they'd have to walk all the way downstairs to go and get them and things like that. It was just a bit of a pain. So we extended our kitchen. On a ground floor we have a kitchen and a cloakroom, and what we did was going in with the 80 to have a fiddle. What we did was the garage was sort of part of the ground floor, so we knocked into that to extend the kitchen so that we could have room to put a table in there. Well, initially the idea was to fit high chairs in there for the children, but once they grew out of that, we could fit a table in and things like that, and it's good. So but we sort of try to make the most of all the space we've got. 890. I'm sure there are ways of making more use, because you do watch these programs where there are these people who are so clever, and they'll, you know, oh, we fit a bunk bed hanging from the ceiling, and you know, you can have this hidden cupboard under your footstool. you know the sort of thing I mean. But we haven't quite gone to that. Now, I want to do all the handles and things bright colours, all different to each other. And I thought I would colour the leaves and sticks first, and then do those after, and then I can, oh, my voice going all wobbly, and then I can work out the balance. I just feel I haven't done that bit. Just go back in with the 890. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. Woo. But yes, we used to watch sort of programs about tiny houses and things like that, and husband would go, oh, I'd love that. And I'd sort of think to myself, would you really though? Would you love to have to get rid of everything, 5, that you have collected over the years, and try and fit it in a teeny weeny space? But I think what he loved was all the storage ideas and the, oh look, we can fit a washing machine under our bed or whatever it was. But I actually think it would really, really get on my nerves, in that if I had to, it's like living in a caravan. You know, when you're in a caravan and the table is the bed. So at the end of the day, to get into bed, you have to sort of fiddle around with the furniture, 52, to make it able for you to sleep. It's even like, you know, making a sofa bed into a bed and that sort of thing. It's so much faff, you know. I think, oh, I really wouldn't want to have to do that. So I like having a bit of space. That leaf looks like that one. I'm going to do this one in this colour. So no, I think, yeah, as I say, it was all the sort of gadgety ideas. Oh, a fold-up table, all that sort of thing he liked. We're going back to number 5 to do this leaf. But, yeah, no, not for me. There we go. Oh, it's the train. I couldn't work out what the noise was. It's just a train going by. Number 50. That means it must be running. We haven't had trains running this week. The track's being repaired this week between our line and our sort of next nearest big station. So basically there were no trains running at all. So this is 76. I try and identify what that noise is I can hear. Anyway, I'm going to use this for all of the little twigs and sticks because I think they look like they would be the same colour somehow. You can vary it and use different browns if you want to. I can hear the noise even louder now. Oh, it sounds like someone cutting wood. Cutting like a plane. Saw planes? I don't. Pretending I know something about things. No, I don't know. One of those things you put wood in and it just cuts it into pieces. It sounds like that. My neighbour's got one of those. Maybe he's making something. He might be in the garden because it's sunny, doing something, who knows. Right, now I had looked at my pinks and thought, oh, a pink. But actually these garden tools don't usually come in pinks. They come in quite dull, not dull, but practical colours, I suppose. I don't know. So I've grabbed a blue. My first one's going to be a blue 63. I'm going to do for these still pruning shears. I'm going to try and make them look a bit darker on the edge than the middle, just to try and give the illusion that they're more rounded than flat. I don't know if it's going to show up particularly well, but I'll know I've put the effort in. There we go. Now I'm thinking, I've seen orangey coloured tools. I think that's a bit bright. No, I've changed my mind. I'm going to bottle out of that and do 722 instead. It's not quite orange. We're going to do the same thing here. Darker top and bottom, if we can. And then reduce it towards the middle. Like that. There we go. I think we could do more reddish tones. I've seen red ones, but this one, I'd do a sort of browny colour. 73, so it's not just a boring brown. Yeah, I have often thought how nice it would be to, you know, take everything out of this room, paint it white so that get some really bright white lights in, get a blackout blind on the window. I'm going to use a green for this one, but it's the sort of browny green, number 19. It's like the ochre, I think it's called. Yeah, dark ochre. And then just have all my art stuff in here. Or all the art stuff. Could have husband's art stuff as well. And have proper shelves and, you know, storage and everything. But there's so much in here that hasn't got a home. And also, although I'm trying to tidy, clean, reduce stuff, free up space to store things, all that sort of thing, but it's slow going, and you know, it's only a certain amount, 72, that you want to get rid of. but also, you know, this isn't just my room, you know, it's a joint, it's a family. My kids never come in here, but husband's stuff in here as well. It's not just my room to decide what to do with. Right, I'm going to make this one blue. I know we've got blue there. I think it's just quite a good garden tool colour. Going to start with the 339 and do the larger part of the handle. And then, yeah, gently come in, reduce the amount in the middle. There we are. Then that bit I might just do in a lighter blue. We could go quite light actually. This is, I sort of almost 302 think it could be left white, but as we've got no background, it's nice to give it a bit of colour. There we go. They're all very clean, these tools, aren't they? I don't think, they must be all brand new. Okay, I'm just going to grab my black, put a little bit of shadow in a few places, number 9. I'm going to give it a sharpen. There's just a few bits where I think, it's a little bit. So I'm going to start here and put a bit of shadow in there and under there. Here I want to do it here. And then on this one there. It's a bit under there. Like that. I don't think I need any there, maybe a tad there and there. There we go. It's just tiny touches. Whether it really makes a difference, I'm not sure. But there is our next picture done anyway. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.